Hey y'all, it's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer. Before we get into today's episode, as always, every Wednesday we are dropping new episodes on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. I'm in Vegas today. It's my first time ever being in Vegas, so why not bring a Vegas veteran on the show, Mr. Dusty Slay.
All right. That's what they call me, Mr. Vegas.
How many times have you been to Vegas now?
I think I've been here 7 times. So I've not been here a ton of times, but I like it. I get into it. I like that you can smoke everywhere. I like that, but it also kills my voice. And I try to walk around the casinos, and the smoke is just killing me, and then I can never breathe. And then after a while, you don't think about it, and then you go outside, and you're like, oh, this is what real air feels like, you know?
And it doesn't matter where your casinos, McDonald's, restaurants, anywhere. I mean, they're smoking in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. I like it because I like cigars, so I can just smoke cigars just out anywhere, which is not something you can do.
Cigars are probably one of my favorite things to smoke, to be honest with you.
It's so great. Even in the Wynn, I went to the Wynn last night, which is a very nice casino. I'm just smoking a cigar, carrying a little ashtray around. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's life. That's living right there.
Yeah.
What's like one story that you can tell that has happened in Vegas that's like, yeah, I probably need to maybe never go back to that place?
Well, you know, I quit drinking in 2012, and then I am married, right? So Vegas I'm not really experiencing, and I don't like to gamble, so I'm not really experiencing Vegas. I'm just hanging out. But I did do a zip line one time, and it was like too windy, so it was running real slow. And so like we were up there like an hour waiting for the zip line. We were like freezing. And then by the time we went down, I mean, it was like, and then you just zip real fast, and then it's over, and then you're like, I'm so cold. I don't know. These guys were laughing, and then I was like, I don't know what's going on, and I kind of lost track of my story. But that is the story. It's not some great story.
I love how you start off with like, listen, man, I don't drink, I don't gamble, and I'm married, so it's not like Vegas is home for me. But there's still some fun things to do. From what I hear, once again, I'm going to clarify, first time in Vegas, but I heard you can walk down the street, and if you want to shoot a machine gun, you can shoot a machine gun. If you want to pet a raccoon, there's somebody walking around with a raccoon. If you want to buy any type of drug in the world, there's drugs everywhere.
Well, I believe the drug thing. I think I've been on the wrong street for the machine guns and the raccoon petting. But, the first couple of times, man, I walked up and down the strip. It's fun to just walk and look at people. I like, it's nice here this week because it's like rodeo week. So there's like, I don't know, I feel like all the women are attractive and everybody's in Western wear, and it's like fun. But sometimes you're here and you're like, this feels like Gatlinburg has come to Vegas. Leaving Vegas, I never see more seatbelt extenders on the airplane than anyway. I mean, like they are coming out. They're like, we're out of seatbelt extenders. Just hang on.
I'm feeling like every time you leave Vegas, like you need an emotional support person on that plane. Hell with a service dog. Like I need a service human being.
Feels like if you have a gambling addiction, they just manipulate you at every turn out here. You can't. There's nowhere to even set a drink anywhere unless it's on a slot machine, and then you can't sit down unless you're at a gamble. I try to find 2 chairs that I could smoke with my buddy. And there's nowhere. And then you go to the airport. The moment you get off your plane, there's gambling machines already set up. I wonder if anybody has ever flown in, lost all their money at the airport. That's what I want to know.
That's a great point. I mean, literally get off the airplane yesterday and boom, slot machine. And I'm telling you right now, I sat down. I'm not going to lie. I did. Lost money.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever come out winning in Vegas, but
I had some friends that I got together with last night, and they were gambling, and I think they lost a lot of money. I mean, I think they're very wealthy, and I don't think it was that big of a deal to them, but I think they lost a lot of money. My friend told me about it this morning. I was like, what?
Damn.
Yeah.
You said something that really hits home, and is one of the main reasons why we started this show, is there's a lifestyle when it comes to, I call it the rural America lifestyle. It's cowboy boots, it's cowboy hats, it's driving a pickup truck, it's listening to country music. And this week, these 2 weeks in Vegas, that's what it is. It's people that just tear this town up, that come from rural America, that come
Yeah.
from hardworking family farming operations, and they come and they let loose and have a good time. It's like that blue collar work ethic that I love talking about. That you understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
you come from a very. I mean, how many people in your town of Alabama? You remind me the name again.
Well, there's 33,000. I just looked that up.
And what's the name of it again?
Opelika, Alabama.
Opelika. And you had a bunch of like blue collar, just random ass jobs growing up. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what were some of them?
Well, by the way, I just was the grand marshal of the Opelika Christmas parade, and they gave me the key to the city.
Wow.
The mayor gave me the key to the city. It was a big deal. Because even some people I ran into from high school, because we used to party a lot, and they were like, did you ever think this would be happening to you? And I'm like, no, not at all. And they said it in a way that I guess it could be insulting to some people, but I was like, no, I can't believe this is happening. But, I did mostly restaurant jobs. I mean, my very first job that I did, there was a hunting club, and I only did this for one day, but they had where they had the whole skeet shooting thing where you needed a guy to pull back the thing, and then they would go pull, and then I pull the thing, and it shoots the skeet, and then they shoot it. But, I was a little kid. I was weak, and I was having a hard time pulling those things back. And I was like, I don't really I think I got $15 that day, and I was like, I don't really think that's worth it. The guy was like, I can give you the money, or you can get credit and go shoot skeet. And I was like, I don't know. I'll take the $15, But then all restaurant jobs, I worked at a restaurant called Hickory Hams. I quit that job pretty quick, and then I worked at Western Sizzlin', where I waited tables, and it was like me and all probably 40-year-old women. They seemed so old back then, but now I'm 40, and I'm like, I don't know if they were my age or not, but I bet they were. They smoked a lot. This was like, that it still had smoking sections in restaurants back then.
Especially Alabama.
And we would go in the back and, roll silverware, and that's how we would get smoke breaks, So we're just smoking and handing out yeast rolls, and it's a lot of fun. Butter and sour cream in your apron, all shift, probably warm, you know what I mean? And then I delivered pizzas for Papa John's, and then I worked at Office Depot. And then I sold pesticides. I was a pesticide salesman. I sold to Lowe's and Home Depot.
How do you sell pesticides? I mean, can I get the sales pitch
here? I guess so. But it was a company, so it was and so I would go to Lowe's and Home Depot. I was like the rep. But, I try to talk to the store manager. I go, hey, I know you're selling a lot of this pesticide, but, my pesticide's better. What I would do is stand in the store, and whenever someone would pick up Roundup, I would try to convince them to buy my weed killer instead. That's what I like to do, and it was fun. But I was fertilizer and pesticide salesman for a couple of years.
Damn, so you've done it all.
And then I waited tables at a seafood restaurant called Hyman Seafood, and that's what I did. I did those two jobs for 10 years while I lived in Charleston. I bellhopped a little bit. I worked for a timeshare company for about a week, where you try to pull people in, try to get them to, and I was like, this seems so shady. I was like,
I think it was Hilton. Hilton got me one time on a timeshare. It's like, God, it seems dirty now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Like a timeshare. That used to be the coolest thing. Like when you were growing up in high school and like one of the kids was like, yeah, we got a timeshare at Disney. Like that was the ultimate flex back then. I got a timeshare.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like, well, just go get a fucking Airbnb now. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just felt like I was, because the whole job of the timeshare was like you bring people in, then they have to go to a meeting where they're going to get pressured for a long time to buy a timeshare. And then they get some free gifts for going to the meeting. But they really pressure people. And I'm like, I don't want to, these people are on vacation. They're having a good time. I don't want to ruin their whole day for $100 and, food coupons. You know what I mean? It's like, just eat less good, but just enjoy yourself.
I would love to be at the house and ordering Papa John's and Dusty's sleigh just delivers my pizza.
Well, I used to, I was 18, 19, and I was just getting high a lot. And that's what I was doing, was just driving around, smoking weed, delivering pizzas to people. And it was great. It was really before cell phones. Like I had a Motorola StarTAC. Remember those? Kind of a flip with an antenna. I had one of those like sometimes. It was still back in those days of cell phones where it was like, yeah, I got one. I paid the bill this month, and so I'm back. But I didn't always have it. But I knew my town. you know, so I just could, you know, you look at the map, you go, I know where that's at, and then you just deliver the pizzas. And it was the best job. I would work late at night. I would close it down, and I would just be the only pizza delivery guy, and I'd be so high cleaning up in there. But I loved it. It was a real dream job.
Dude, you actually had me pumped up there.
Yeah.
Like, you're just having a good time. There's no social media, not really cell phones unless you pay your bill. You just get high and you deliver pies.
Yeah, I'm listening
Get high and deliver pies.
Yeah. That's the mantra. I would
Merch idea.
Yeah. I would pick up my buddies. They would come to Papa John's, and they'd get in the car with me, and we'd all ride around together and smoke weed in the car. And then my boss was like, well, you can't really do that. So I started.
That's where we got to cross the line.
Yeah. So I started meeting them at the gas station, and then we would ride around. And it was great. I mean, sometimes I'd have 4 or 5 guys in the car, and we're just driving around like we're at the Papa John sign on the top of the car, like I'm training all these people. And, you know, it was pretty, you know, when you pull up to somebody's house and they're outside and you pull up with 4 dudes in the car, it's a little sketchy looking.
Yeah.
But, you know, I never mess with people's food, you know, so I wouldn't let people, my buddies would be like, let's check out the pizza. And I'm like, just don't be messing with these people's food. You know what I mean? We're already breaking a lot of rules here.
Dude, that is great, man. Golly. So in Alabama, what would you do for fun? Like, what would Dusty do as a hobby? Play any sports or hunt, fish, anything?
Well, when I was a little kid, we just liked to, I grew up in a trailer park, but on either side of us was just woods, you know? So we would just play on the woods, play in the creek, catch tadpoles and crawfish and, swing on. We had a little, you know, my dad would, they would like, when they would clean up something in the woods, they could pull down little vines so we could swing on these vines. And we loved doing that. And then as we got older, we got into 4-wheelers and hunting a little bit. I mean, a lot of my friends were hunters, but I don't know. I never was that into it. I just, I never like you had to get up early and go out in the woods. I used to get up early, put on a lot of clothes, go in the woods, fall asleep, wake up, not know where I was at for a second. And I did a little dove hunting, a little deer hunting, a little squirrel hunting, and it's fun. I like shooting guns, but I'm just not into just kind of like sitting there like that.
Yeah.
You know? And we used to do dog hunting, but then that feels like it feels like you're just hunting the dogs. You let them out, they run, and then they go, all right, now we got to go get the dogs. And you ride around, everybody talks on the CB trying to track down the dogs. I don't know if you've done that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Where it's like.
Some places in Florida, that's the only way you can hunt
Okay.
because of some regulations and all of that.
Yeah. But, that stuff's fun. I like doing it. And then as we got older, we got into 4-wheelers. And then, then we got older and we got into, drinking and smoking weed. And then that becomes a hobby in and of itself.
That's true.
You're like, because, you can't, for a long time, you're not old enough to drink, right? So you can't go buy it. So, part of the whole thing is, we got to get some money, and then we got to get somebody to buy it, and then we're going to rent some cheap hotel and hang out in the room and drink.
Dude, that's a hobby. And did y'all, because back home, too, there was that one gas station that you found that you can go buy like a 6-pack for $20.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of how it was for...
Yeah, I mean, I always looked real young, so it was always hard for me to do it. I never had the confidence to go in. Even when I turned 21, I still felt like they were going to be like, nah, but this ain't you. So, but, I would have friends that could do it. Those guys, I don't know who these guys are, but, I don't know what's going on in their mind. My buddy, he could just walk in, grab some beer, throw it on the counter. They just sell it to him. It never would have happened with me. We would also drive to Georgia. In Alabama, you got to be 19 to buy cigarettes. And it was 18 everywhere else. Yep. So we would drive to Georgia and buy cigarettes. And that was a hobby. Yeah, I mean, I liked art. I was always a bit more of an artistic kid, artistic.
Yeah.
And, so I like, drawing and, so I felt like I was always like, like my dad felt like he was never pushing art. He was never like, yeah, I want you to get into this. My dad wanted me to be a chiropractor because that's what his brother was. I think my dad wanted free adjustments. And I could have been into that, but I don't know. I just, I got bored in my hometown and I wanted to move away. So I moved to Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, what made you do that?
I just was bored.
And Charleston's a great town. I was just
so bored. I mean, I felt like I'd done everything already in my hometown, and I was like, let's find something else to do.
Went to college for a couple years, couple minutes.
Like a day or so.
Yeah.
I did sign up for a community college, and I did a math class and like a reading class, and I went to each one time. When I was in high school, it's like every day you're in class, and you got girls in there, and it's a real social setting. And then you graduate, and you're just like, I still had my buddies, but I'm like, we're not old enough to go to the bars. I'm like, where do we go that the girls are at? And I was like, oh, college. So I signed up, and there were like no girls in my classes. So I was like, all right, well, that's not it. Let's drop this. And then I, just hung around. I joined the Army, and then I got arrested and never made it into the Army. And
so what do you mean you joined as in like you enlisted and then you're waiting to go to boot camp and then you got?
Yeah, I went down to the recruiter's office, and they signed me up, and then I took my physical, and then that night I came home, and my recruiter was like, because we had a whole talk about weed, and he's like, I know you like to smoke weed, and he said, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but you're going to get shipped off in a month. So if you want to smoke weed, do it tonight, And then I got arrested that night for alcohol, open container, and possession of weed. So then I lost my license for 9 months and got.
Did you not call that recruiter? Hey, guy, thanks for the advice. By the way, I just got pinned.
Well, in the end, I was so happy because I was just trying to get out of Opelika, and this was before 2001. This was 2001. So, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but it looked like we were in relative peace, our country. So I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to join the Army. I'm going to get some money. I'm going to see some things. And then I would have been in boot camp when September 11th happened.
Ooh.
So I was like pretty thankful to not get involved in a 20-year war, And I don't know that would have been good for me, but I did try to join.
Yeah.
And then
and that led you to Charleston.
Yeah, and then after I lost my license for 9 months, I was on 2 years of probation, and so I just had to hang around
in Alabama.
And then once all that was done, then I moved. I was like, let's get out of here, on to some new adventures. I went to Savannah, Georgia. I liked Savannah. I thought it was cool.
Yep.
But while we were there, we went to Charleston. We visited Charleston, and I was like, this is the spot. I mean, this in early 2000s, it was this beautiful, like real undiscovered place. And it was like, you got the beach, you got a little bit of a city, beautiful people, college town. I was into it.
Damn. And did you go by there by yourself? Did you go to Charleston?
I went with a buddy, but then he moved his girlfriend up right away. So our whole plan got derailed. Now, we're still friends. I'm friends with all of them. They got married. They have a family. But at the time, I was very upset with him. But it forced me to... do some stuff on my own, which is how I found comedy.
Okay, so you found comedy in Charleston.
Yeah,
there was even growing up. So you mean to tell me you weren't the class clown? You weren't like...
I was for sure.
Yeah.
But I had it never crossed my mind that I could do that as a job. I didn't even know how that worked, and nobody was, and maybe nobody around me knew how that worked either. But no one was pushing me in any direction, other than the standard direction of life, which is, graduate high school, go to college, get a job.
Get married, have kids.
Yeah, which is great, but it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
at what point were you like, shit, I'm kind of funny, I might be a comedian?
Well,
you won a couple championships in Charleston, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
2-time Charleston champion.
That's
right
true.
Here.
That is true. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But my friend, we had planned this whole move. We're taking on this new city together. And then he moves his girlfriend up, and now they're hanging out. And I am suddenly, I was in a town that I grew up in where I knew everybody in the town, and now I'm suddenly basically alone in this new city. And I needed a way to make friends. I was working at Office Depot. Everybody there was old. Nobody would even have a beer with me. I was like, this is killing me. So I looked in this like Charleston City paper, and I saw like improv classes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. That sounds fun. I'll do that, try to make some friends. And so it worked. Started making friends, started doing improv, got into stand-up.
And then you realized you were kind of good.
Yeah, I mean, then I was also drinking a lot, so I was like, it was this whole thing. I did comedy for a little bit, and then I, moved to the beach and drank for a year and hung out. And so it wasn't until about 2008 that I actually started really like working at comedy. And then, I was like, all right, I'm pretty good at this.
So so 2008, it's like, damn, I'm going to actually lock in and maybe be a comedian. So, and I'm just naive when it comes to this. I guess if you're, hey, I want to be an actor, I'm moving to Hollywood or New York, or if I want to do this, I'm moving to that. Like, if you want to be a comedian, is there a location to go to kind of, elevate, or is it just wherever you're at, you can?
Yeah, I mean, the cities always change, but there's always city like Nashville's a good one, Austin is a good one.
But in '08, like L.A., maybe you.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta was good. Atlanta was a hot comedy city. I mean, New York, L.A., Chicago. I mean, those are all the big ones. But I feel like, for me, I feel like you want to get started a little bit somewhere else and then go up. I would say even Chicago, New York, then L.A. If you were trying to do that, L.A. I think is really hard to get started in comedy. But New York, there's so much stand-up all over the place. You could. I went there for a month one time as just an open micer. I was just doing open mics, and within that month, I was getting booked on shows because if you're good, people want you on their show.
Yeah.
But Charleston was there was no comedy scene. I mean, we had improv, we had no comedy club, we had nothing. So we were just building our own little scene, mainly like just getting together, doing a little comedy, drinking, having a good time. We had like such a non-competitive scene that we were like, we just wanted all of us to be funny. So we watch each other's jokes, we laugh, we try to make each other's jokes better. Because it didn't matter, we weren't competing for anything. Mm-hmm. We weren't making money. But then we would have the yearly competition, and I ended up winning for the first time in 2011 and then again in 2012.
Boom, in Charleston.
In Charleston.
Big time competition, or are you just like, hey, it's kind of easy, that's why I'm winning?
I think it was pretty good competition.
But is it like at the end of the show, y'all just line up and then the loudest claps win, or do you have like a judge table?
They would do a thing where they take, the audience votes for two people.
Gotcha.
And they would always say, that way you vote for your friend and you vote for the person you thought was the funniest. Because that's what everybody's going to do. They're going to bring their friends. And the first year, I think I won by like 2 votes. It was very close. But then I quit drinking that next year. Ooh. And it felt like my brain cleared up. And I was just like writing much better jokes. Everything got tighter. And by the next year, I won by lots of votes. I mean, it was...
Well, that's interesting, man. So you're saying you were just boozing super hard 2012, you decided to stop, and then you just became a different person.
Yeah, I mean, I was partying. I loved it. I had a great time. Nothing, I mean, I got into fights and I wrecked cars, but nothing tragic happened. I had a great time drinking, but I was like, it was beating me down. Like I was drinking a lot, smoking a lot of cigarettes, and just looking rough. And I just quit. And then I started feeling better. My whole life got better. Now I don't. I still mess around with the weed a little bit, but I don't drink. I don't like drinking.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with weed.
No, and I don't personally think there's anything wrong with alcohol either. But for me, it's like, man, I'm totally fine. But I have a couple of beers, and it's like I'm almost drunk off 2 beers. But then I could drink the entire night.
Yeah.
And it just gets worse. It's like fun. We're all having a good time. Everything's great. And then some flip switches and I'm mad and everything's dark and I hate everyone. And, and then I
know exactly what you're saying.
My eyes get glossy and you can look in there and you're like, he's not in there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a darkness.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat with Like a Farmer. Are you looking to add some local flavors to your recipes? Well, visit freshfromflorida.com today, where you can browse hundreds of delicious recipes that bring Florida freshness to your table all year round. Become a Fresh from Florida member for free and create your own menus. Save and send your favorite dishes and get exclusive access to monthly newsletters packed with fresh local recipes. I can promise you will be a favorite in your neighborhood. From the Florida fields to your fork, Year-round freshness and flavor are just a logo away. Fresh from Florida, there's a sunshine in every bite. Today's episode is brought to you by AgAmerica, your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, AgAmerica is changing the game when it comes to ag lending and leveling up finance options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners across the nation. And I'll let you know the secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on farms themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for you and your family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, AgAmerica has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because when farmers thrive, we all do. Do you ever look back, and I'm telling you, Dusty, I think, number one, you're funny as hell, but it's kind of the lifestyle that you grew up in. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, just that blue-collar, hard work ethic, rural America. You know, you probably could drive a mile each way from where you're at, and there's farmers, there's people that work in agriculture. Like, you seem to have a fan base that's just blue collar as hell. Like, do you ever sit back and think, like, that's kind of helped you to where you're at today because you have all these funny stories of just growing up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me being able to start comedy a little later, I had some life experience. I had stuff that I was doing, like, because now I'm like, my whole, I got a family and stuff, but I'm like, my whole life is doing comedy. I'm staying in hotels, I'm flying around, so I'm like, I'm still drawing from experiences from when I was younger to write jokes about. Like my dad still lives on a farm. He has Black Angus cows, and, I used to bale hay with him and build fences. And so it's like I got to do all of these sorts of things that I can now talk about and, find ways to make funny. And my dad's town is very small.
In Alabama?
Yeah.
Do you ever talk about, like, any funny farming jokes by any chance?
My dad always wants me to do farming jokes, and I'm like, I always try to tell him, I'm like, you think that I'm gonna make farming jokes and you're gonna like them. It's like, if I make a joke about it, you're probably not gonna like what I say. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because I'm like making fun of stuff. So I try to be careful about it. I don't know. There are some stuff I'd like to talk about, but sometimes it's, I don't know. I've talked about helping my dad birth a cow, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes that stuff gets gross, and like, we had to, like, the cow was like halfway, like the baby calf died, right, while they were giving birth, and it was like halfway out. And we had to, like, I think one leg was out, and we had to get it out of there, and we had to, like, tie up like a fence jack that you use to tighten barbed wire, and tie it to and then kind of jack the calf out of there. I think there was a veterinarian there. And it's just like, it's so wild. You're just out there, it's cold, and I got to stick my hand in the, vagina of a cow out here and try to pull a leg out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think on the flip side, you have a platform to shine light on that type of lifestyle. It's hard to be a farmer.
So hard.
Like, and they don't get any time. It's probably one of the most thankless jobs in the world. And it's like, you eat every single day, or you drink beer I mean, farmers have a touch on you on all of your life aspects every single day.
For sure. And there is no bigger buzzkill when you're a kid than you're sitting in the living room. It's a cold day. The phone rings. Your dad answers, and he hangs up, and he goes, cows got out. And then we got to get in the truck. We got to go down there. We got to run cows back in a fence. And then that means now we got to patch a fence. And I'm like, man, I was just playing Super Nintendo in here, just in the warmth and the dryness, But it is fun. I mean, growing up, my dad had an orchard that his dad planted. So he had apples and pears and plums and figs. I ate so bad as a kid. I think those things saved me. I think that's the only place I got nutritional value, was picking this fresh fruit. And then, my dad, he gets crazy as he gets old. He just bulldozed everything one day. He's like, I got tired of cutting around it, like cutting grass around it. I was like, Come on, dude. Come on. We had good, I mean, this is like, his dad died in 1966, and he planted all these trees. Like, my grandfather was born in 1900, and he planted all these trees.
Right at 1900.
Yeah.
Damn.
So.
What do you think he was, like, looking at when he woke up?
I don't know. I mean, he built the house that my dad lives in 1947 when my dad was born. And then he planted all these trees around that time. So we're talking, good non-GMO apples out there that my dad just bulldozed away.
Damn.
I know, it's a shame. The fig tree's still there. The pear tree's still there. It looks good, But, and now I got some land outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
Where I got a little cabin that I got the Mennonite people to build a cabin, put out there.
How many acres are you on out there?
It's 9 acres there. And so I'm planting trees, doing stuff, and I'm filming. I got a whole YouTube series that I'm doing where I'm trying to just show the progress of taking this land from nothing to hopefully transforming it into something cool one day. It's already cooler than it was, but I want it to, I want it to really turn into something over the years, and then you can look back and see this whole journey.
See, deep down inside, Dusty Slay is a farmer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's so many country songs out there where you're like the kids fighting with their dad about living on a farm, and they want to just leave, and then they go back to the farm. It's like it feels like that's what's happening to me in a way. I don't want to move back to my hometown because it's a little far out there. There's no airport. I live 15 minutes from the airport where I'm at, sometimes 10, and I'm like, that's perfect for me. But I like to be able to get out. I want to be able to grow my own food. I want, I know chances are I'm never going to grow all my own food, but the more I can eat that I've grown, I think the better you feel. I mean, it's satisfying, even just herbs, like you're cooking something and you want to season some herbs. You go out in the backyard, you cut a little thyme, a little basil, bring it back in, sprinkle it, and you're like, this feels good. Like I was making tomato soup. I grew my own tomatoes, had all my own spices. I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
Dude, this is why Dusty's on Like a Farmer. I mean, that is fucking spot on. I play a game on the show.
Okay.
You want to play a game?
Yeah.
Okay, so this game is called Give 'em the Boot, presented by Tecovas. And these boots are actually yours, Dusty's.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I got your boot size from your team. And how we play this game is Tecovas sends you a pair of boots, and there's going to be 4 or maybe 5 questions in the boot, and you can give one of them the boot. You don't have to answer it.
Okay.
But if you give one of the boot, then you have to answer the other ones. Yeah, these are yours,
nice
brother.
boot.
Yeah. You should wear these tonight, MGM.
Dang, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is amazing.
So questions in there, you
Okay.
reach out, answer it, you can give one the boot.
Okay.
Question number 1.
What's your favorite joke you ever told? I think I have a lot of them, but this is one I used to tell when I was drinking back in the day. I would say, if I like to drink so much that if I tell you I'm not drinking, I'm at least having 2 beers. If I tell you I'm going to go out, have a couple beers, then I'm getting drunk. If I tell you I'm getting drunk, then it's a guarantee that a window's getting broken, something's getting stolen, and somebody's sister's getting knocked up, Maybe mine,
Jesus. That's a good one, all right.
That was one of my favorites to tell.
Yeah.
It's like once you quit drinking, you kind of have to stop telling that because, now you're just, anytime, like if you're like anytime like a comic is like a fatter guy and then they lose weight, the tendency is to try to keep telling their fat jokes that they had and be like, I used to be.
Yeah.
But it never works. You have to, it just has to. So when you quit drinking, it's kind of tough. I do a fair amount of drinking jokes, but they have to be all past tense type stuff.
Yeah. You can't be the sober guy now telling all these drunk jokes
Yeah.
like your sister getting knocked up.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work anymore.
Right. It's like that kind of thing. There's no excuse for it when you're sober.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you could be any human on earth, who would you be? And you can't say yourself. This is always a tough question for me, these kind of questions, because I'm like, there's plenty of cool people, right? But it's like, I don't know, you want to be yourself, but let's see, who would I be? Matthew McConaughey?
Ooh, that's a good one. Why?
I mean, like young Matthew, he's like the coolest guy alive, and he got a great voice. I think that's who I would be. I don't want to be Matthew McConaughey, but if I had to make I would say that, because Dazed and Confused was his first movie, I think, and that's still the movie. You can, like, I like to go, all right, but that's kind of what I do. Yeah. But people will still go, all right, and it's so great.
He is a cool guy too.
Yeah.
Every Texas game you plug it on TV, he's on the sideline like coaching up the boys.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and there's a lot of people I like, but I don't know that I would want to be them.
Yeah.
He feels like he's got a good life. Like, I really like Hank Williams Jr., right? But you think about Hank Williams Jr. and the guy, his dad died when he was real young. He fell off a mountain and almost died and crushed his face. And, and then he's had, I don't know, I just feel like, and then you just look, you think about some of these guys, musicians sometimes, and you go, are they really happy? There's a guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he has a song where he says, memories cost a lot when you don't make them, Just like, I don't know, it just seems like, you have all this pain in your life, and that's what you write songs about, but you're like, is that a happy life, though? Just because you're like a successful musician, does that mean you're really happy?
Yeah.
It's true about comics, too. I am happy, though, just for the record. I don't want to make a statement like that, and you guys go, is he? What was your worst time you bombed on stage?
Ooh, yeah.
I would, well, there's a lot of times. It is, when you do comedy, especially if you do it like I did, where you don't have a fan base for a long time. Like some people now, they're able to create something on social media, not saying it's bad, but they create something on social media, they blow up, and then they start doing comedy, and right away, it's their fans. But when you do it like I did, where you're doing comedy for, at least 10 years with no fans, you're just doing comedy for strangers all the time.
Like, would you do a show and like 2 or 3 people showed up?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Oh.
Now, most times, any club, they're like, we need at least 6 people here to do the show. But I have, I talk about Johnson City, Tennessee. They used to have a comedy zone there, and I've been there when it's like there's 4 people in the audience, and we're all geared up to cancel the show, and then a couple people show up, and they're like, all right, we're on. And you're like, oh, jeez. And they feel like these people wandered in like they don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
And now they're about to be the main focal point for the next 90 minutes. I had a show in Tuscaloosa. My friend just reminded me of this one. We showed up and downtown Tuscaloosa, and nobody, like we walked in and there was a stage in the middle of the room. We were both like, this is about to be a nightmare. It was a busy bar, and they were like, the guy goes, yeah, no one bought tickets. No one showed up for the show. He goes, I'm going to pay you, but we'll just go ahead and cancel the show. So I didn't bomb, but it's a little disheartening to know that no one came. This was years ago. But also, it was nice because I was like, we just got paid. Let's go eat some food, But I've also bombed, I bombed pretty early on in a show where I did a couple of new jokes that I wrote. It was all new jokes, but a couple of jokes right off the top, big hits. Audience was going crazy. Huge laughs. It was like, I was like, oh man, I'm amazing. I'm the best comic ever. And then I hit my next bit of new jokes, and it goes completely silent, and I never get them back. And that's the worst kind of bomb.
Ooh,
because if you just bomb from the start, you can always tell yourself, I just never got them on my side, or they didn't like me, or this is a tough crowd. But when they like you and then you lose them, that's the worst. I wanted to quit after that. I've had people, because it's not, hecklers are not so bad until they find a way to like really hit you with something, where you're like, I was doing a show at a sushi bar. I shouldn't have been doing it. What do you mean you were doing a show at a sushi bar? Well, they were, they had a little comedy show they were doing and I was like, they asked me to do it. And at this point, I don't like to say I was above it, but I was kind of beyond the sushi bar at that point. But I was like, yeah, I'll do it. They're my friends. And I was up there doing it, and there was like a couple of guys talking in the back, and I just kind of motioned to them. And this guy goes, yeah, you're hilarious. And it just hit me. I just was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do the show. That's the only time I ever walked off stage. But it hit me in a way that personally affected me for days. I mean, comedy, it's like you could have a million shows in a row that are like amazing. And then you have one, like really a show like that where it just eats away at you. You're like, am I even funny? What am I even doing out here?
Damn, that's deep.
It is the strangest thing. I mean, you could be on cloud nine, and then the next thing you know, you're like, what's happening? Especially, I've noticed it now that I got a bit of a following. I'm doing these theater shows. I go out, the crowd's cheering for me right away. I get right into my jokes. It's going great. I do sometimes an hour, 20 minutes, and then I go to the open mic at the club where it's just a random group of people, and I'm doing some jokes, and I'm like kind of bombing the jokes. And I'm like, have I already tapped into this thing where I'm only funny to my fans? And I don't think it's true, but that's what goes on in your head.
Huh.
You know, but I think to some degree, it's like I'm not treating the open mic like I am my show.
Yeah.
It's my show. I'm like, all right, here we go. We got to go out. We got to nail it. At the open mic, I'm like, well, these jokes probably aren't funny. They're new. All right, so this is...
Yeah, last one.
So I could boot it.
You could boot it. I hope not. I like this one, I think.
Who is your favorite comedian right now and ever? My dad made fun of me for reading one time, and that's true. And my dad wanted me to get good grades, but didn't want me to read. I don't know what he expected me to do. But I would say it's hard to say favorite comedians right now because I don't really watch a ton of comedy. I do a podcast with Nate Bargatze. Nate is so funny. I mean, he's maybe the best comic working right now.
You think? I met him one time at a Troubadour out in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
He loves playing golf.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like a great guy.
So nice, so funny. He's really good. You know, I like, but, you know, as far as comics that I've always liked, I mean, I like Mitch Hedberg was one of my first comics when I first started doing comedy that I really liked. He's just kind of a weird one-liner comic. I like old Bill Hicks. I liked an album by Steve Martin called Let's Get Small. Really great. I loved Jeff Foxworthy as a kid. First two albums are still like some of the best comedy
Jeff is
out there. Bill Engvall, I like the Here's Your Sign album. I mean, that stuff was great. That was kind of my early people. Now I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok. I mean, a lot of people make fun of Matt Rife. I don't mind a Matt Rife clip. I like a good crowd work clip. I watch too much comedy in clips, but John Mulaney, some of his early stuff, like he has a bit, I think it's just audio, called the Salt and Pepper Diner. Really funny bit. I have tons of people that I do comedy with now that are funny. Brian Bates, Aaron Weber. They both do the podcast with us. Very funny.
That's awesome. Foxworthy's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
That guy's a stud, man.
I mean, he's so funny. But his first two albums, You Might Be a Redneck and Games Rednecks Play, I mean, those are really great. Even you could take the You Might Be a Redneck stuff out, and they're still great comedy albums. I mean, it was like, because all that stuff was hitting me in a way, it's like, and it was hitting everybody, but just words that you didn't think about. He had a which-ya did ya, you know? And it's like, he's like, you didn't bring your truck, which ya did ya? And it's like, oh, man, we are saying that.
Yeah.
That is what we say.
He opened up, like, what we're talking about today, those people in rural America that just have that little twang. Like, I actually really do say that.
Yeah. I mean, like, even he's like, one of my favorites is like, he's talking about running out, there being a dog in the yard. You run out on the porch and you go, get on out of here. And it's like, that's exactly what I say. Like, how did he nail it like that? Get on out of here. And it's just like, oh, man. I mean, he was so great. I mean, I was middle school. I was living in a trailer in middle school when that stuff came out. And I was like, man, he is nailing it. And it felt good. It gave a voice to maybe not a voice, but it was like somebody was talking to that part of America finally. Because you had Jerry Clower, James Gregory. I mean, those are legends, but Jeff Foxworthy really perfected it.
That's awesome. You keep on going back to growing up in a trailer park. You have some like trailer park stories that like, damn, you just would never see that shit in the suburbs.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so, but it's like, well, we had a rare ice storm once, and we lived under pine trees, and we had the tree limb froze on this pine tree and fell, and it stabbed into our trailer, and it collapsed a shelf of. My mom had this big shelf of ceramic owls, and it crushed the shelf, and the owls broke all over the floor. And all of that's pretty trailer park.
Was there anything about the owls that like stuck out to her?
Well, I think my mom just likes collecting things, right? So me and my two sisters and my mom, we all had to have a thing that was like, I had dogs. My sister might have been owls, and my mom was bells, and my other sister was rabbits. So we had a cabinet, and it was like a shelf for everybody, where it was like all of our little ceramic things. But they were all ours, but they were all my mom's. My mom did ceramics for a long time. My mom used to work at a plant that made VHS tapes, and we loved 90s NASCAR. I still love 90s NASCAR. It's like, it's hard for me to keep up with any sports these days, but
NASCAR, we partner with Ross Chastain, who's a farmer out of Florida right next to my family's farm, and it's called Ag to Asphalt, and we actually bring a family farm to every single NASCAR race across the country. I continue to say that I think NASCAR is probably the staple sport in rural America.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I got a lot of family still into.
Yeah, I love that shit, man. The stuff that you see at a track, holy cow.
Well, we used to go to Talladega a bunch. We went to Atlanta a little bit. I've been to Bristol one time, and it's fun. It's so fun to be at a race.
That's where most guys, like, especially growing up, see their first pair of tits, too.
Oh, yeah.
I saw my first pair at a Jimmy Buffett concert, but it would have been NASCAR, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Panama City Beach, I've seen a few down there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
a Jimmy Buffett concert?
Jimmy Buffett, yeah.
R.I.P. Golly, that dude. He transitioned the game, in my opinion, when you think about that type of music.
Well, I never went to a concert, but yeah, it's like, because Jimmy Buffett, I mean, I listen to a lot of old Jimmy Buffett, and he's basically country music, but it's beach country.
Exactly.
And he had great songs, like a song like "Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw." It's like, I mean, what a fun song, I tried that kind of line. It doesn't really work for me, but
exactly.
You listen to Jimmy Buffett and you're like, oh, I'll do this.
Who do you think? Who was like a mentor to you in the comedy space, or did you really even have one?
I don't think I had any physical like real mentors. I mean, people give me advice along the way, but I just, there were comics that I liked, and I liked what they did.
And you would, because I'm assuming, I mean, you have some openers here in Vegas for you. I'm assuming you opened up for people down the road. Was there anybody that really kind of you attached onto?
No, I had a buddy out of Nashville named Chris Killian. He took me on the road a bit, but these were all small gigs. I never got brought on the road really by anyone. Once my career was pretty established, I went on the road with Bert Kreischer a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was already headlining my own gigs by the time we were doing that.
I love Bert, man. He's funny.
Yeah, very funny. But I I worked the road. I got myself booked. I mean, I did. I really feel like I won't say I'm the only one who's done it like this, but there are not many people that. I never lived in New York, Chicago, or L.A. I went from Charleston to Nashville. I got myself booked in comedy clubs as opening acts for, from 2014 to 2018 for 4 years until I got myself on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I got myself on The Tonight Show with no agent, manager to do it.
So you did Fallon and Kimmel.
Yeah, I did.
Which one was your favorite out of the two?
Well, Fallon is the best. I've done The Tonight Show 4 times now, but Jimmy Kimmel was my first one.
Yeah.
And he was very nice to me, But he didn't have a good setup. So I won't completely blame the setup. I didn't know how to prepare for a late night, but the setup is to blame in a lot of, because he has all the celebrities in one room talking to him. And then when that's done, they stand the whole audience up and move them into a different room to watch just me do stand-up. A comic at the time, none of them knew. And now I got basically a cold audience, and I've been preparing for a late night with kind of a hot audience. So I'd never opened with these jokes. So it took me, 2 minutes of my 5 to get them really into it. And then it turned out well. But with the Tonight Show, I learned how to prepare from Jimmy Kimmel, and I was like, I came in hot.
Yeah.
And it really blew up in a good way. But I got myself on a lot of things on my own. Now I have management and agents, and it makes my life much easier, and they are able to get me into, better spots, and I probably wouldn't be doing the MGM Grand tonight if not for them. But, I was able to do a lot of this stuff on my own. And you just pay attention to people. You get advice from people along the way. But a lot of these people are just unknown road comics that help me out. Because I went from, Charleston's a real hipster kind of art scene. So I'm doing comedy in Charleston, and I'm doing, what I like to call kind of hipster comedy. And I start working the road, and they're like, no, thank you.
Yep.
And so you have to, but I didn't want to lose that. But I had to figure out how to do my kind of weird comedy, but for everyday people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because
I just want people to laugh. I want people to just have fun and not worry. I'm not trying to teach people anything. I don't want the audience to learn anything. I got nothing to teach. I just want to tell jokes. But, it's like, I feel like people really get in these days, they get into, well, I have a platform and I have to say this. And it's like, you don't have to, though.
No.
Just be funny. That's all they want. People, they just left work and they just want to laugh. They don't want to hear your take on the news.
Correct. Exactly.
If you're Bill Maher and you're doing a live show, everybody knows what they're getting. They go, all right, we know who Bill Maher is. So if you're buying a ticket to a Bill Maher show and he does politics and you're mad about it, that's your fault.
Yeah.
But, it would be like if you watch my special and then come see me and my whole hour's about the election, you're going to be pretty upset.
Yeah. That's spot on. And you've got a couple specials coming up. I want to hit on kind of what you have coming down the pipeline. I want to start with military because we talked a little bit about off camera.
Oh, yeah.
They're very important to you. You're about to do some military stops. Where does that passion come from, by the way? Don't get me wrong. If there's two people that I want to make sure we always have in this country, it's my military men and women and my farmers. But it seems like because you have some stops coming up.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just think that, it's a hard job. I've known, veterans, and it's like even if, like one of my buddies, I don't think he was necessarily in war, but saw some combat, and, it affects people forever. So it's like, no matter what we believe about any of our wars, whether, because, there's wars where it's like, do we need to get involved with that? It's like, regardless, people are still like losing a part of themselves in this, and they're making a sacrifice. Even just, I'm gone from my family weekends at a time, and it's hard. Some people, they have a baby and then leave. And they might not see their baby for a year. Mm-hmm. And it's such a sacrifice. And it's like, I'm like you. I want a military. We got to have a military. What a wild world it would be if we didn't. But, so I want to try to give them some entertainment if I can.
And you're doing a couple shows.
Yeah, I'm doing 3 Air Force bases, which I've never done. But I am into it. And I'd never made it into the Army, but I did. I got some shared experiences. I
signed up.
I did the whole physical, which is a thing in itself. You strip down, and a man looks at your genitals, and then you got to bend over and let a man look at your butthole, and it's like I feel like I have that in common now with every veteran out there. I've done that. I didn't go to combat, but I've been looked at by an old man. and told me that I was okay.
Oh, that's awesome. What? So you have a Chattanooga taping as well coming up?
Yeah, I'm doing. It just worked out that I wanted to film a special, and I like filming a special in a city that I've been to a bunch, or that I've had some good experiences. So I feel like it will go well, and just worked out that Chattanooga was coming up on my calendar. I've been to Chattanooga a bunch, done a ton of comedy there, and my last special I filmed in Knoxville. So now, like, in part of my mind, I'm like, I want to film all my specials in Tennessee now.
Yeah.
That's where I live. I love it. I got, I still got Memphis and Nashville and Clarksville, and so there's a few big cities left, and then maybe by then I'm done doing specials.
Now, help me out here, Dusty. The special, like you're doing Chattanooga, is that the Netflix thing? Because you have a Netflix thing coming. Like, what does it mean for you to film a special?
Well, Knoxville I filmed, and I didn't know if it was going to be a Netflix special.
Okay.
I just filmed a special, and then my management sold it to Netflix. And I assume that's what we're going to do with Chattanooga. I don't necessarily, not that I'm aware of, maybe they know something I don't know, but as far as I know, Netflix has not said, we want another special from you. So I'm just going to film one. I got an hour of jokes that I really like. And if nobody likes it, as far as I'm concerned, I'll put it on YouTube, and I think they will buy it. But if they don't, I'll put it on YouTube and
let it ride.
And let it ride.
But what is that? What's the difference of a show to a special, though? Like, educate me a little bit on the comedy.
Well, I try to make it not any different.
Okay.
Other than the fact that, the audience is now made aware that we're filming this.
Gotcha.
And they're asked not to heckle or yell out. They still don't listen.
Yeah.
But my special that's out on Netflix, we left in one clip of a guy yelling out, but he did it several times. I was into leaving them all in, but the thing was too long, and so we were like, let's trim some of this. So that's the main thing. It's like, you'll do two shows, and so, you can either just choose the one that went the best, or like I did on this last one, I went through both, and I'm like, I like the way I did this joke on this one better, and I like the way I did this joke on this one better. So you just bring it all together, and you get to edit the shows together, which you don't get from a live show. But if something crazy happens that's entertaining, I want to leave it in.
Yeah.
I don't want the audience to be completely neutered in a way that they can't do anything, because I think it's fun. My second album I filmed, just recorded audio. I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. And I kind of like that, where you're just like, you get it exactly how the audience is. But at the same time, you're like, I don't know, I'm putting this out. I'm spending a lot of money on this. I want this to be the best. So I prefer to have the audience know what's going on, be paying attention, laugh. And I found this on my Netflix, though, that people will give you these loud applause cheers a bit more often than I would get in a normal show, I think. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's an organic applause break. But I feel like on a Netflix, people know you're taping it. They're just pumped to be there.
Oh, yeah.
So they give you cheers when, not when you don't deserve it, but maybe you wouldn't have got quite that in a normal setting.
That's awesome, man.
And Chattanooga's a great city.
Great city. Do you play golf?
I don't play golf.
Okay. They got some
I feel
good
like
golf.
everybody plays golf now. But
you.
But my dad used to say golf is a waste of a good cow pasture. That's what he would say.
Ouch.
That's what
but
he'd say.
Makes sense, though.
I did the Grand Ole Opry. I do comedy at the Grand Ole Opry a bit, and I was working one night. I was with Jamie Johnson, and I'd never met him before, and I'm a huge Jamie Johnson fan. And I went into his green room and talked to him, and he had watched I have a Netflix half hour too. He had watched that, which was amazing for me because I'm a big fan. And we got to talking, and he asked me, did I golf? And I told him that joke. And apparently Jamie Johnson's a huge golfer. And I think he might have been about to invite me to golf, and I just blew it. But I'm okay with it. I'm not going to golf with him. I turned down golf with Larry the Cable Guy. And, I did shows with him. I love him. We did have cigars later. That's just more my speed. I don't know. I think I grew up to trailer park that I don't feel good on the golf course. I feel like I don't belong out here.
You know what? Next time I'm in Nashville, I'm going to invite you to play golf. Let's just go. Let's just try it one time.
We'll see.
Okay, I'll take that. What do you think brings everybody to Nashville? I mean, there's a lot of, whether it's the athlete space, obviously the country music space, but even the comedy space. I mean, what is bringing people to Nashville, you think?
Well, I think there's several things. I mean, one is no state tax. So if you're living in California or New York or Illinois, you got huge state taxes. So you're like, I can move here, and I'm essentially just taking a raise. But I think Nashville in particular is just really fun. It's a fun city.
It is, yep.
And I don't know. I mean, there could be crime going on that I don't know about. But from what I see, it feels like a pretty safe city. So, it's bachelorette capital now. So, with any drinking, obviously, be careful. Don't take drinks from strangers, right? But it's like, I feel like it's pretty safe. You come down, you just party on Broadway, you got plenty of hotels. And that's what I think it is. It's fun, it's safe, and as far as living goes, it's cheaper if you have moved from one of these other states. Now, it's pretty expensive, but it's cheaper than some of the other places.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot of neighbors from California, and they were able to sell their house and buy a pretty big house.
Oh, for sure. The dollar goes a little bit farther in places like Tennessee in general.
Yeah. For sure. And Tennessee's just so nice. It's a nice state.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
it's landlocked. That's the only thing I don't like. I'm a beach guy. I like to go to the ocean. And
yeah, the beach is awesome.
Awesome.
That's why I like Charleston. I mean,
great city.
Yeah.
Night Shift. Is that the tour name? Did I get that right? Okay. Night Shift. How pumped are you about that?
Well, I love it. I mean, I hate coming up with a tour name, but
you stole it from John Party.
Yeah. Exactly, and then I used this song to promote it. But
oh, did you really?
Well, I do when I share on Instagram. We're always working on the night shift. But I just thought, all right, my special's called Working Man. Let's get something that relates to that. And I'm working at night, and it is a night shift too. It's like probably the show tonight's at 9:00. Show will probably be out of there by 11, and then you're all fired up, and then you want to do a couple of cigars, and so you're 3:00, you're getting to bed. And then I'm in bed looking at TikTok, and I'm like, what am I doing? Go to sleep, But yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, I'm doing all theaters. It's the first year. Now, who knows? There could be some clubs that get added in at some point. But so far, I mean, my whole calendar is nothing but theaters. I've never had that happen. I've always been clubs. I mean, prior to being clubs, it was bar shows that I was stringing together. So the fact that it's all theaters and I'm selling tickets, people are coming, it's amazing.
I'm so stoked for you. Are you coming to Florida at all? Is Florida on the...
I don't know if I have any Florida dates, but I did the Tampa Theater last year.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yep.
I like coming to... I did Jacksonville. I love coming to Florida. I mean, Florida... Like, whenever I'm out and, like, comics are making fun of Florida, trying to make jokes about Florida, I'm always like, you never been there, have you? Because Florida's great. I mean, the people are always trying to make fun of Florida. I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, every state has some crazy stuff. And I mean, anytime you're by the water, you're going to get some crazy people, But Florida's great.
I'm with you. What else do you have coming down the pipeline? Anything exciting? Maybe like a movie? Are you going to create a movie or maybe a movie about yourself?
Well, probably no movie right now.
Okay.
I don't know how much I can talk about, but I am. I got a book deal, so nice. I am writing a book.
Okay. And what's that? Is that going to be like a book about yourself?
I've been writing it, and then I have to send stuff to the editor. So they could be like, I don't know what's going on here. But my hope is to just kind of make a book about, my early childhood and, coming through and getting into comedy. Not necessarily where I am now, but getting to a good spot. And, I got some crazy stories that I'm trying to tell and, just some fun details that I think, and some stories that, I've tried in stand-up before and it's not really a good stand-up story, but still an interesting story.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be fun. Me and my wife are writing it together. My wife's a little bit of a writer. I mean, she's a great writer. I mean, she's not a published author or anything, but she's So I'm not using a ghostwriter. A lot of people now are, they're just telling their story and then somebody else writes it. So we are writing it, which has been really fun.
That's awesome.
there is some talk of, very early stages of a TV show that I'm working on, but it's very early on. So there's a lot of places it could get squashed, but
I think the sky's the limit for you, man.
Yeah,
I really
well,
do.
thank you.
I think what you embody as a person, I think you have a specific audience. Not that more people aren't going to like Dusty, but you, in my opinion, and why I want you to come on the show, you're the epitome of what I'm trying to shine light on. It's like the working man, the blue collar man, just like where you growing up in rural America, a lifestyle that people now want to be in. It's like, well, let me tell you what it's really about. Like, there's a group of people that need people like yourself that have a platform to talk to and shine light onto. So that's why I'm such a fan of your work.
Well, I appreciate it, and I love, where my dad lives is pretty small, and it is like, it's just fun. I mean, everybody knows each other. We're hanging out. You see people from, it's easy to run into someone from your childhood all of a sudden. It's just, I don't know. I love it. This is a big problem that I see in a lot of rural areas is the food. I mean, the food is bad in a lot of places. Like where my dad lives, it's like you hang out there for a couple of days eating at restaurants, you do not feel good about yourself. It is bad. And so it's like sometimes in the places where it seems like they're growing all the food is the worst food. And I don't mean that the recipes are bad. I mean, it's just unhealthy stuff. And sometimes it's also not. And I don't know.
That's a great point.
If I could do something, that's what I would want to change is like, I'd love to open a restaurant in my dad's town and just bring back some cool fun and some excitement about the food. I feel like, and not that people around there can't cook. I'm sure people are having wonderful home-cooked meals. But the restaurant, it's like, and you go and you're like, oh, the Google says you'll be open right now, and they're, but they're closed. Yeah. You don't know why. You don't know why. There's a restaurant. My dad lives outside of a town called Lafette in a town called Pennon, and they have the Pennon Grill, and it's like he just opens whenever he wants. I mean, he don't care. We know him. I grew up with him and his family, so we called him last time I was up there, and he was just running his drive-through. But he let us come in the back door and let us eat in there, because he just wanted to sit down somewhere out of the house and eat some food. But, it's all fried and, and then my liver hurts. I don't know, something over here. And
and then most of the time you got like a McDonald's, and if you're lucky, you got a damn Dairy Queen grill and chill.
Yeah.
Which I love, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah, all the stuff is tasty, but it's just like, I wish that, and I don't think everywhere's like that. I drive through a lot of small towns where they'll have cool little cafes, but, I mean, it is hurting in a lot of areas.
God, I think that's where you end the episode. Dusty just kind of giving an advice on the food, because you're kind of spot on.
Yeah, I just want people to live out here and be healthy, and, I like to eat a lot of bad food, but, I don't know, it feels like, if it's gonna, like we ordered a chicken sandwich at this place, and it came and it was just 2 kind of boring buns and 2 little chicken fingers on the thing. And I'm like, if I'm gonna eat bad, let's at least have some fun with it. Let's get in there. You go to a fried chicken place in Nashville where we got the hot chicken. I mean, it's gonna be good.
Shout out Hattie B's.
Yeah. I mean, you get a chicken sandwich at Hattie B's, you're like, you may still health-wise, you may not feel good about yourself, but it's going to taste good.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, if you're not getting health, at least get the taste.
Before we end the show, one thing you would say to the farmers out there, what would you say?
Well, I appreciate you. I know it's not, there was a clip, I feel like it was the former mayor of New York City a couple of mayors ago, Bloomberg, who said something like, well, farming's not hard. You just go out in the yard, you put the seed in, and it grows. And I think that's what people think. And I've been trying to grow stuff. And one year I'll have peppers and cucumbers and tomatoes, and I'm like, oh, I'm the greatest gardener in the world. And then the next year I can't get a single cucumber to grow. So I don't know what's happening. So it's hard, and I appreciate it. I appreciate what people do. It's not, because it's not easy, and it seems like most people don't appreciate it.
Spot on.
They don't appreciate that, even like my dad just bales hay, and just having one person to help him to rake the hay so he can come right behind and bale is a big deal, and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to pay anything for anything. They come buy hay bales from him and complain about the price, and I'm like, do you know what went into this?
Yeah.
It didn't roll itself up.
I know.
So.
Sad deal.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the show today,
Yeah,
man.
thank you. I appreciate you having me.
I mean,
And these boots are amazing. Thank you for this.
dude, absolutely.
Look at these boots I'm wearing. I'm not saying these are bad boots, but these are better. I bought the wrong shoestrings. I can't get them tied up all the way. But
Well, I hope you enjoy them, man, and I hope they bring you lots of success on stage,
yeah, thank you.
especially for the new tour coming out. As always, appreciate y'all tuning in. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.